What comes to mind for you when you think of split pea soup? I think for a lot of people, they think of school cafeterias, hospitals, just institutions in general. It doesn't have the most appetizing name. It's very old-fashioned. It sort of has this kind of mossy, grayish, green tinge, which I think a lot of us aren't super excited about. But when was the last time you actually ate split pea soup? Because it's delicious. Not only is it delicious, split pea soup is loaded with fiber, it's loaded with protein, it's super cheap to make. This clocks in at about $2 a bowl or less, and it's super easy too. I've been making a lot of split pea soup lately, so I wanted to show you how I've been making it. Here's everything you need to make a great split pea soup. I have onions, celery, carrots, garlic, a couple bay leaves, salt and pepper. Split peas, you can use green or yellow. Some stock. I have chicken stock. You can definitely use water, or you can use veggie stock or pork stock if you're really in that hammy kind of mood. I also have some chopped ham here. This is left over from Christmas. It was in my freezer. Ham is definitely optional. You can also use bacon, or you could just leave it out altogether. I do find that if you are a ham person, you can often get really good deals on ham ends in your deli. So to start off, I'm gonna chop the onions. I have 2 medium onions here, and I'm just gonna dice them fairly small to medium. And then I'm gonna dice the celery. I usually use about 2 to 3 sticks, dice those up about the same size as the onions, and then I get those sweating. I'm doing this split pea and ham soup in an Instant Pot today, but you can do the exact same thing in a regular pot. I'll explain how to do that as we go along. Whatever pot you're using, you're gonna start by putting in a little bit of fat. You can use oil, butter, or any kind of fat you have lying around. I have some leftover bacon fat in my fridge, so I'm using that. Then I'm gonna chuck in the diced onions and the diced celery. I'm gonna throw in about a teaspoon of salt here. I'm gonna make some adjustments later, but this is a good kind of starting amount. While those are sweating over medium heat or saute function on the Instant Pot, I'm gonna peel and chop my carrots. I have 2 pretty good sized carrots here. Cut those up the same way I did the onions and celery, and then throw those into the pot as well. At this point, you can let this stuff saute/sweat for as long as you have patience for. If you have 5 minutes, go for it. If you have 2 minutes, that's fine too. I'm gonna add the garlic next. Mine is pre-chopped here. I'm using about 3 to 4 cloves. I'm gonna add the bay leaves in. If I had fresh thyme, I would add a big sprig of fresh thyme in here as well, but I don't have it right now. And then I'm gonna add my split peas. I have 450 grams of split peas here, and mine came in a 900-gram bag, so if you don't have a scale, you can just throw in about half a bag. That's about right. And I'm using green ones because I kind of like the mossy greenness of this soup. And then I'm gonna pour in the stock. I have chicken stock here, and it's 1,500 mils. Now that everything's in, if you're using an Instant Pot, just put that lid on and set it to pressure cook for 15 minutes. If you're using a regular pot, just crank up the heat to bring the whole thing to a boil. Once it comes to a boil, turn it down to a simmer, put the lid on, and let it simmer for probably about 25 to 30 minutes. And with the Instant Pot, I also let the pressure release slowly. So after it beeps and says it's done, I wait another 15 minutes. Now that the soup is done, I'm just gonna add in the ham. I didn't add this earlier because it's already pre-cooked and I just kind of didn't want to cook it into a million pieces. And then I just give it a stir and taste it for seasoning. This needed a little bit more salt. I probably added another teaspoon or so. The last ingredient is just a whole bunch of cracked black pepper. I love pepper with split pea and ham soup. And that's it. I'm just gonna put it in my bowl here and serve up just enough for me. This soup is really hearty and it's got some like really deeply cooked flavors in here. So it's kind of nice to throw some kind of fresh zinginess on top. And if you're a weirdo like me, you might like this little addition, which I just love, which is to throw some pickled banana peppers on top. You could also just throw on some fresh parsley, chopped green onions, even some cooked fresh peas. Time to get this bad boy out of the cafeteria and into your kitchen. Mmm. Mmm. The flavor of split peas is different from the flavor of other dried lentils for sure. It has a very specific split pea flavor and I love it. Banana peppers. Love that. Bit of hot sauce is also amazing on split pea soup. This soup has been basically on repeat for me in my kitchen this winter, and soup in general is just always in the rotation. If you are a soup lover like me, watch this video next, which will give you tons of ideas on how to jazz up just about any soup. Thanks so much for joining me this week, and I'll see you next time.